Exactly 1 week has passed since Diablo III was released as I record this, and most of the well-known and reputable gaming sites are posting, or have posted, reviews. Almost all of them are resoundingly positive, and the critics' Metascore is currently at 88 of 100. And Gelatinous Dude has been doing double takes regarding the actual experience of playing Diablo 3 compared to some of what I would characterize as critic hyperbole. They've been saying stuff like, perfectly streamlined, yet incredibly deep, incredibly satisfying strategic skill application, challenging gameplay, yet normal mode is a casual player's dream, and grand online engineering achievement by Blizzard. Before purchasing Diablo 3 to play and review, I was, as any informed gamer, worried and highly skeptical about Diablo 3's always online requirement, the real money auction house, and the no mods policy. But something inside told me that Blizzard's well-known craftsmanship and an instinct for addictive gameplay had resulted in a highly enjoyable product nevertheless, and that we at worst would be torn between questionable DRM practices and a brilliant piece of gaming. But I'm not. Diablo 3 is very much an incredibly honed, and I would argue at the same time reduced sequel to Diablo 2, released 12 years ago. No real game-changing innovations have been introduced since then, except the much discussed DRM. This is still the medieval fantasy, hack and slash, cast and blast, clickfest the Diablo series has always been, albeit simplified. Players choose between 5 different character classes: Barbarian, Monk, Demon Hunter, Wizard, Witch Doctor. 2 are mainly melee scrappers, 2 are ranged fighters, and 1, the Witch Doctor, is a strange hybrid, an interesting combination of playstyles. Some classes may have disappeared since the last Diablo, and some are new acquaintances, yet all adhere to the Diablo character archetypes we know well. The leveling up process and skill choices have been diluted, however, or streamlined, as it's popularly referred to. Any in-depth min-maxing speculation is gone. The gamer is drip-fed a few skills at certain levels during their character progression. Runes have been added to modify skills, but basically tweak attack range, add a character slant towards the defensive rather than the offensive and vice versa, and are not significant permutations by a far cry. The choices we are left with are therefore few, and this streamlining feels like a concession to casuals. Incredibly deep gameplay? I didn't find it. As in all Diablos, loot is ample and bursts out of everything and anything. The random gear drops seem tempered by some balancing algorithms, however, and rarely give you a game-altering uber weapon piece or armor. Gelatinous Dude actually found the crafting part of the game to provide more timely, decent gear upgrades to fortify your character with than expecting it to drop off a boss. Magic items found in the world are brought to the blacksmith and salvaged, and gear can be produced with the resulting materials after learning a few trade skill recipes. There are several skill tiers. Crafting is, however, rudimentary compared with any full-fledged MMORPG offering. Along the course of the game's 4 acts, NPCs join and help the player, and are often introduced through quests. After you've survived some travails together, they offer to join you as permanent companions. These NPCs are also ranged or close combat fighters and level up. At every few levels, the player can choose between 2 skills to augment their followers. Those not traveling with you wait on the player at the current safe zone. The NPCs are enjoyable as companions and bring some casual banter to the game, but are mostly insignificant in combat. You travel through different regions, different climes, have outdoor and indoor, cavern, dungeon, cathedral, and town adventures. The graphics are easy on the eyes, and pretty color palettes are employed. The game engine scales well and runs painlessly on even moderate rigs. Fun new additions to the game are the events that you happen upon coincidentally while traveling Diablo 3's world of Sanctuary. Suddenly you're shut into a tomb and must defeat a horde of spirits to be released, for example. Upon successful completion, you receive an achievement award. Gelatinous Dude has nothing against achievements per se, but in Diablo 3 they are available for reference before they're achieved. This removes some amount of mystery. Also fun are the treasure goblins that appear in front of the player just down the passageway from time to time, weighed down by the riches they've been hoarding. You have to give chase, of course, and they unfailingly lead your character and follower directly into droves of monsters, creating some very hairy but exhilarating situations indeed. So, I'd expected to be thrilled by the gameplay of Diablo 3, but taken all together, I wasn't really. It's actually just a dumbed down, or streamlined if you prefer, version of Diablo 2. Incredibly polished, with great graphics that are a bit too colorful for Gelatinous Dude's liking, with grand animations, great sound, and the usual hokey story. And a couple of good new ideas. I had expected to get some kind of very focused, old-school gameplay fix from it, but it just served to make me realize how gaming has advanced the last decade. The first hours of Diablo 3 were absorbing, but I quickly lost interest, rather spending time with Demon's Souls, in anticipation of the shutdown of the US servers on the 31st this month, Valkyria Chronicles 2 on the PSP, and Final Fantasy XIII of all things, that I never completed because my first PS3 bricked. Yes, Diablo 3 is superbly honed with great craftsmanship, but it should be, Blizzard having spent the better part of 12 years developing it, funded by the fullest coffers in the industry. But polish does not a great game make in and of itself. Add to my generally underwhelmed attitude towards Diablo 3 gameplay the whole always online DRM controversy, and we are heading towards a very unremarkable game score. The always online requirement is a great imposition towards players, and punishes every player for issues that Blizzard has with pirates, dupers, and gold sellers. No one is able to be online constantly, and this restricts when paying customers can play a legally bought product. If Diablo 3 was a highly engaging MMORPG with on-the-job 24/7 games masters that acted out specific roles, monitored and introduced events, and generally kept a whole virtual world going, then online always would be the ticket to participate, would be the gateway to that world. But Diablo 3 is basically an old-style clickfest with some very impressive trappings, and actually lends itself very well to be played casually on-off in spurts, roaming on portable computers, and offline without a dedicated internet connection. But instead, publishers and developers have foisted their problems on legally paying consumers, and most of us just take it and ask for seconds. Here begins the slippery slope. Publishers drip-feeding us content when they feel like it, and us, like so many hamsters, running around our habit trails, chasing it contentedly. And when Diablo 3, the game itself, feels like a drip-feeding habit trail, a nauseated, yet still free-willed Gelatinous Dude chooses to get off while I still can. I advise you, gamer, to do so as well. It scores 5 out of 10 only because some real people have put some real talent and effort into Diablo 3, and because there's nothing really wrong with a good old-style clickfest. If only Blizzard knew its, and their, place. This is Gelatinous Dude. Thank you for listening.